We made you some money last week, 4-1 against the spread in week 7. Now we've got a full week 8 Big 12 prediction for you game by game, and I will give you my best picks of the week against the spread as well. Let's preview and predict these games, make some money. Welcome in. I'm Pete Mundo. Heartland College Sports is where you find us covering the Big 12 Conference. We've got 6 games. I've got 2 picks I really like and a third pick that I never thought I'd actually pick. But here we are. They're on my scratch notes right in front of me here. Let's talk about it and go through these games in order. Week 8 in the Big 12 is here. We just ask you to subscribe. That's the only thing we're asking from you. To the channel on the podcast, YouTube, hit the like button right now. We appreciate you being here as always. So we are starting off the day, week 8 in the Big 12, with Arizona at Houston. This spread has flipped. I know. I'm surprised. You might be surprised. I didn't see that coming. You've got a situation here with this game where Arizona is now a 1.5-point favorite after Houston opened up as a 2-point favorite in this game. And I like the home team. I know some of you Houston fans have been riding me here, saying, you don't like us, you're burying us in the power rankings. I like you in this game. Now, I know that they rolled Oklahoma State last week, and that's Oklahoma State, and they're terrible. But Houston continues to not just beat the teams they're supposed to beat, but oftentimes look good doing it. I like the offense under Connor Wigman. I think that they'll be able to get the passing game going on Saturday at home against Arizona. And as much as Arizona's an improved team, you blow a fourth quarter game up by double digits at home against BYU. And that one just stings. And that's something that I'm looking at. I'm saying, how is Arizona going to bounce back from that? Is that something that they are going to be able to handle? And I'm not convinced that they're in a great position to do just that right now. I have a hard time seeing it based on what I saw last week, especially in that fourth quarter in particular, where they had that game in their back pocket and they totally blew it. So if you're looking at this, you're saying, well, Arizona's secondary has been pretty good. Is Connor Wigman going to be able to get the passing game going? That's a fair question, but that's where I'm looking at Houston, some of the weapons that we've seen Connor Wigman use effectively, and I'm saying at home in this early kickoff game with Arizona traveling, I like the Cougars to keep that momentum going out of last week. And the Houston defense as well has not been great, but you know what? It's been really good against the run. That's where they have been tremendous, especially through 3 conference games where they are second in the Big 12 against the rushing attack. Now, Arizona's not a team that's going to beat you on the ground. That's really not what they want to do, right? But if you can totally neutralize them in the run game and then know that Noah Fafita is going to have to beat us through the air, well, you've got a game plan if you're Willie Fritz and that Houston defense. And while Houston's pass defense has not been as good as the rush defense thus far, I still think that they're going to be able to have this bend but don't break mentality against Noah Fafita and force that Arizona team into a few more field goals than they might want, especially when they're going into this road matchup. And that is going to play well for Houston at home on Saturday. So I'm looking at this game, and I'm saying to myself, give me the Houston Cougars. Final score, 24-21 over the Arizona Wildcats. That is pick number 1. It's not one of my official predictions against the spread, but I'm giving you picks for every game, and that one I like right there. Houston beating Arizona 24-21. Next up, a rivalry game, Baylor on the road against TCU. And I want to take a step back on this game for a second here. I want you to think about how this season could be thought about very differently had each of these teams' toss-up games gone about just a little bit differently here. Let's just use what's gone on here the last couple of weeks. What do you say? All right. You've got a TCU team that has blown a 17-point lead against Arizona State on a Friday night. Not a good look, right? We agree on that? We're all on the same page? Okay. Good deal. Team that lost to Kansas State because of 2 boneheaded decisions, frankly, by Josh Hoover. Lateral pass and a pick six, both resulting in touchdowns, 14 points, and you lose an opportunity to win a tough game on the road against Kansas State. You look at a Baylor team that got a gift comeback against Kansas State, also lost a close one to Arizona State, didn't look great against Oklahoma State. My point is, I went into this game thinking that Baylor +3 was a really good bet, and now I've shifted totally away from that. Most notably because Baylor's defense stinks. There's nothing that Baylor's defense does well. And I'm looking at these two teams, and I'm like, with the way that TCU is coming off that boneheaded loss at Kansas State, and the fact that I firmly believe if there's ever a time when Sonny Dykes really needs a win, we're getting to the point now where if Sonny Dykes loses this game after 2 straight seasons of, not meeting expectations, even last year was a decent year, but not meeting expectations, you're going to start to hear some noise down there in Fort Worth. I'm not saying he's going anywhere, but you're going to start to hear some noise. So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, this guy's coming home off of that tough loss at K-State. If there's ever a time for TCU to be dialed in at home in a rivalry game, if not now, when? So maybe that's me giving TCU the benefit of the doubt, and you can say that that's the case. That's fine. But I actually really believe that now's the time, if ever, that TCU is going to be dialed in based on how they lost that game last week. And the fact that Baylor's defense can't stop anybody. Baylor's defense has just been abysmal. And they're getting by with Sawyer Robertson in the passing game, but TCU's passing game has actually been halfway decent. So then I look at it and I say, if that's the one thing that's kept Baylor alive so far in the early season, and TCU's actually done a pretty decent job stopping the passing attack through its first couple of conference games, then that does not bode well for Baylor going into this matchup. And that's what I keep coming back to here in this game. So I'm like, I came in liking Baylor a lot. And then I stepped back and I'm like, why? Why do I like Baylor in this game exactly? Because I thought they were going to be good in August? I just can't trust this defense on the road to get a single stop. Like, do you? Be honest, even if you're a Baylor fan. Or do you feel like, no, I don't, but at the same time, I think they can win this game, 49-45 or something like that. And that's fine, but I'm just not seeing it. So I'm going TCU winning this game 37-31. And that would give them a cover. I'm not going to touch the game against the spread personally because it is a rivalry game, and you never know what you're going to get in some of these rivalry games. But the more I dug into the numbers, the more I said I don't like Baylor in this spot at all. So I'm going TCU at home minus the points. There you have it. I'm Pete Mundo, joining you on Heartland College Sports. Make sure that you like the video and you are subscribed right now. Let's jump to West Virginia, going on the road against UCF, a battle of two teams that are right now at the bottom of the Big 12 standings, but it could be a fairly compelling game. West Virginia's off the bye. UCF went on the road and lost to Cincinnati last week, but I'll tell you what, I came away liking UCF more, and I've been, as much as they're 0-3, and I don't think they're doing anything in the Big 12 this year, I like what I'm seeing from UCF. When it comes to its pass defense, and the defense in particular, I actually think has been pretty good. You hold Cincinnati to 20 points, as much as I believe Cincinnati left some points on the table, this defense is not getting enough credit. And then Cam Fancher, as the third-string quarterback, looked like a different guy last week against Cincinnati than the guy that we saw in Week 1 against Jacksonville State. So UCF is coming home. They're playing much tougher football than we ever saw him play over Gus Malzahn. That is a testament to Scott Frost and a testament to Alex Grinch and what that side of the ball is doing. And I also just like the fact that I believe UCF is going to be able to take advantage with their rushing game and with that rushing attack, which has been underratedly good this season. They are tied for fourth in the Big 12 in yards per rush at 5.6. And they're going up against a West Virginia defense that has not been good at all in stopping the run. Mountaineers are 12th in the Big 12, giving up 155 yards per game on the ground so far this year. Not a good number. So I like Miles Montgomery and whoever's playing quarterback to be able to work that ground game at home in Orlando on Saturday. And I like this defense to stop what has been just a dreadful West Virginia offense. And I mean just absolutely dreadful so far this year. So I like UCF getting a pretty comfortable win here, 27-17 over West Virginia. And that game is one of my picks this week. It is UCF minus the 7. I've seen 7.5. I'd buy the half a point if you have to. But I am going to roll with the UCF Knights in this game, picking up a win and covering the spread against a West Virginia team that just has been abysmal through conference play, losing their league games by an average of 25 points a contest. So UCF's improved. The defense is right now the star of the team, and West Virginia cannot get anything going offensively. So even at 17 points, I might be being generous at that number, but I'll figure West Virginia's got a little juice coming off the bye, but I think that UCF pulls away late, gets a cover on the 7 and 7.5, and wins the game 27-17. I'm Pete Mundo. Heartland College Sports is where you find us, covering the Big 12. Thanks for being here. We're trying to make you some money this week, just like we do each and every week. Last year, the picks were 4-1 against the spread. So there you go. Let's keep it rolling here with our picks in the Big 12 for Week 8. Texas Tech goes on the road and takes on Arizona State. And if you think that I am not going to ride the Tech gravy train, you are nuts. Texas Tech football is paying the mortgage this month, baby. Let's go. All right? Tech minus the 7.5 against Arizona State. I couldn't believe that spread. I was like, this has got to be too good to be true. These guys haven't lost or haven't won a game by fewer than 24 points. And you're sitting there with a spread at 7.5. Is this a joke from Vegas? I mean, Arizona State at this point is living off of the reputation of what people thought they were going to be this season. Let's be very clear about that. Arizona State has no business, does not deserve to be a 7.5-point dog against Texas Tech. You got Sam Leavitt banged up, and even though it looks like he's going to play, they're banged up all over the place. I mean, they are dealing with a slew of injuries. Everyone's talking about Sam Leavitt, but they've got injuries all over the place they're working through right now at Arizona State. That spread is built on expectations. That's it. There is no reason for Arizona State to only be a 7.5-point dog against Texas Tech going into this matchup. So I'm giving you the pick right off the top, but I'll back it up here. You've got an Arizona State team that in Big 12 play so far is 13th in scoring offense and 11th in scoring defense in conference play. You've got a Texas Tech team that is at the top of every statistical category in this Big 12. You name it, they're right at the top of it. Number 1 in scoring offense, 1 in total yards, 2nd in rushing offense, 2nd in passing offense. I mean, you go down the list. Top in sacks. They're doing it all. Nobody is slowing them down. Arizona State does not have the juice in the trenches. We saw that last week against Utah, a Utah team that got dominated by Tech in the trenches. I mean, what are we doing here with this number? I'm just trying to, make you rich. That's it. You do with the information what you want. I've been dreadfully wrong before. I promise you it's going to happen again. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I don't believe it's going to be this week. I don't. Texas Tech is also going up against an Arizona State team that has given up 10 sacks in 3 conference games. Tech is top in the Big 12 with 12 sacks in 3 conference games. I mean, I could find a bunch of these little tidbits that favor the Red Raiders. But the reality is this Texas Tech team is built differently. It is the top team in the Big 12 until proven otherwise. Yes, they're going on the road. Yeah, they might be feeling themselves a little too much. But even when you see like a Kansas jump back into the game last week, Tech is able to turn it on. There will be a week where they don't cover the spread. There will be a week where they get caught off guard and they have a surprise on their hands. I don't deny that. It's going to happen. You've got college kids doing what college kids do. I don't believe it's this week. And even if it is, that number sitting there at 7.5 is just too juicy. I thought it might be in double digits, easily in double digits. And I saw that number and I said, sign me up. Okay. I mean, that was just too much. Or I guess not enough, depending on how you want to look at it, because it continues to just move all over the place. And that is something that I admit has surprised me looking at this thing so far in the early part of week 8. I'm Pete Mundo on Heartland College Sports. Make sure that you are subscribed right now. That way you never miss an episode. That's the only thing that we ask of you. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button on the video. It does help us a lot as we continue to roll through the show here on Heartland College Sports. Thanks as always for joining us. Next up, let's talk holy war. It is Utah. It is BYU. It is what could be one of the great games in the Big 12 Conference this fall. And we don't have to wait until 10 o'clock Eastern time to watch this game. It's a 7 o'clock Central game. I love that, and I cannot wait for it. It has a chance to be one of the all-timers. Last year was great. This, as a Big 12 game, is must-watch football, conference matchup, one of the great rivalries in the sport. And it's a game that features a 5-1 team against a 6-0 team. And now the question becomes, who you got? Well, for me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, I've got a rivalry game, pretty evenly matched rivalry game at that. Utah's on the road. It's tricky. I believe they're a slightly better team in the trenches. I also have a Utah team that is better when it comes to red zone offense and red zone defense and does a better job in the penalty category, second fewest penalties in the Big 12, which BYU cannot boast. I'm going up, if I'm Utah, against a true freshman quarterback in Bear Bachmeier, who you know I love. Okay, if you've listened to the show for any length of time, I am a big Bear Bachmeier fan. But a true freshman quarterback who has made some mistakes, a team that's about to play the best competition they've seen all season, that has not yet been punched in the mouth, that is playing a 5th straight game, dealing with some nagging injuries. Looks like Jack Kelly at linebacker is going to play. It's an upper body injury. How good is he exactly in this key matchup against a dual threat quarterback? We're not totally sure. But all those things stack up to me and lead me to a Utah win in this game. Leads me to a place where I believe the Utes will go on the road and beat the BYU Cougars, who have played with a little bit of fire early this season. And while they've been able to come back like last week against Arizona, special teams playing a big role, the true freshman quarterback using his legs so effectively. I get a Kyle Whittingham defense against a true freshman quarterback, even though it's in his house, in what is going to be by far his toughest test to date. The only thing that makes me want to lean towards BYU is the fact that they're home. But everything else on paper, I like more for the Utah Utes. And that's why I've got to pick them here in this matchup on Saturday. I like Utah to beat BYU by a final of 27-20. And I look at the Cougars, who have dodged a couple of bullets so far this season, last week being one of those possibilities. And I think to myself, what if one of those games went a different way? How would this spread be looking right now? If, let's say, BYU did not come back against Arizona last week when they were down 10 points in the fourth quarter. Is this spread at 6? Is it at 7? Might be. And obviously the teams haven't changed. So that leads me to a place where I just think that the value is there on Utah -3. I firmly believe that on the offensive and defensive lines, Utah is not Texas Tech level, as we saw, but they're right in that next tier when it comes to Big 12 teams and their abilities to control the line of scrimmage. And I believe that's where you're going to see this on Saturday night play out. I know that Devin Dampier has obviously looked shaky against better competition and better defenses. But I believe for him, it's a moment that he's going to break out, have a really good game, and Utah will win on the road 27-20. So give me Utah minus the 3 points in the Holy War on Saturday. And all we're asking you to do is make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And we're going to have the full Week 8 reaction show on Saturday night or Sunday morning. So that's the other reason that you'll want to be here. All right. And then if you're a BYU fan, make sure you're subscribed, because when you win, which obviously is what you're thinking, you can come in on the reaction show and rub it in my face. All right. So we're all on the same page here. Just like the video and subscribe right now at Heartland College Sports. I'm Pete Mundo. Last but not least, our final game in the Big 12, we have Cincinnati taking on Oklahoma State. And when you've got 3 touchdown spreads, you've got an Oklahoma State team that's looking for a head coach, totally decimated, worst time for the program in over 2 decades. You got to go with a field pick as much as anything else. There's nothing to like about Oklahoma State in this game, to be very clear. Nothing whatsoever. They're at the bottom of the Big 12 in basically every statistical category. All right? So I'm rolling with Cincinnati. I believe Cincinnati gets a big win, and I think that this is largely driven by a Cincinnati team that is able to just dominate on the ground. Cincinnati is the best rushing team in the Big 12 on yards per carry. Who would have guessed that? Now, they don't do as much of it as, say, Texas Tech or BYU or Utah. But when they run the ball with Evan Pryor leading the way, they do it very well at 6.1 yards a carry. And then when it comes to passing the ball, I mean, they are right up there as well, near the top of the Big 12. And they take their shots. That's the other thing. They take their shots. They have big plays down the field. Cincinnati is number 1 in the Big 12 in 9.6 yards per pass completed. That is above Texas Tech at 9.1, above Kansas at 9.1, above TCU at 8.7. This Cincinnati team airs it out, and they are very effective at airing the ball out as well. They're good. And I believe they're going to have some big plays against Oklahoma State, who is not any good at stopping the run or the pass for that matter. They're near the bottom of the Big 12 in both of those categories. And you tell me, how is Oklahoma State going to get this offense going at all? They got Sam Jackson, a former wide receiver who's now playing quarterback. They had no offensive identity last week at home in their loss to Houston. I don't know what they are. They are dead last in offensive efficiency in the Big 12, and they are dead last in defensive efficiency in the Big 12. There is nothing to like about this team. If there's a vulnerability for Cincinnati, it is against the pass. Cincinnati is last, or I should say they are near the bottom of the Big 12 in passing defense, second to last. They have not had a single interception this season. The back end is where Cincinnati is vulnerable. But Oklahoma State's not built to take advantage of that at all. So this game is going to be all Cincinnati, and I'm going to roll with the Bearcats here by a final of 40-17. Cincinnati beats Oklahoma State, and I'll give them to cover that big number at 21 points. I'm Pete Mundo. Heartland College Sports is where you find us. So I'll give you 4 picks against the spread I like this week. UCF minus the 7 against West Virginia. I'll give you Texas Tech minus 7.5 at Arizona State. Opened up at 11 and moved down to 7.5. I'll go Utah minus 3 against BYU. And then Cincinnati minus the 21 on the road in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. There you have it. I'm Pete Mundo. We are HeartlandCollegeSports.com. We are always grateful for you, for your time, and for being a part of the show. All we ask is that you subscribe right now to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon. The reaction show is coming up this weekend after the games. Be here for it, and we'll talk to you then. Have a great day, and go Big 12.